All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna figure out this whole schedule live thing, man. I was excited. I had like 7, 10 people in there waiting on me, and then I'm out here like this. So y'all excuse me. I'm about to see if I can get some people back on here. So sorry again. I'm on my phone trying to manage some stuff. All right, somebody's on here. Yeah, my bad, y'all. Go ahead and state who you are and everything. All right, I got to figure out a way to get the other people back on here in a second. There was a good amount of people waiting. So hopefully it'll show that I'm live. But that was a whole new experience for me. I thought that if I scheduled it, then it'll be a whole system or whatever. But hold on one second. Let me. All right. All right. So, Johnny, what's good, man? Been a while. All right, let everybody know I'm on here, man. That was my problem. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out the proper way to get it going with the schedule live, and I thought that as soon as it hit 8:30, that it would just automatically let me go live. So I was sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden nothing was going on. So I'm like, oh snap, I'm not on here. So, but it's all good. I'm here now. So I'll jump into it in just a second, I promise. But I'm just a little disappointed because I had a lot more people waiting for the live, so I gotta get them back in here. So let me see if I can regroup here in a second. Give me 1 second. Let me get the live going again, or let everybody else know where I'm at, and then I'm gonna jump right into it. All right. Yeah, y'all bring the folks back in here. Y'all do that for me. Bring them back in here. Let's bring them back. How we share this? I'm gonna share it this way. All right. 1 second. I'm still here. I had to switch out one screen to the other. Let me put this back on my Twitter real quick. All right. So we got a few more people back on here. Go ahead, y'all go ahead and put some comments down in the comment section. So when I come back here, I got the questions already going. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with what I said I was gonna start off with, and then we can just get to rapping and chatting it up. So give me 1 second. All right. Can y'all still see me when I go to other screens? That's a good question. I'm still new to this YouTube thing. Like I've done a couple live streams. The only other live streams I've ever really done have been with AD. So I haven't really done them on my own. Even when I had my other YouTube channel that has been lost forever. All right. All right, I'm back. Oh, okay, well, good. So the whole time I was doing all this, y'all can still see me. That's cool. Glad I wasn't doing nothing crazy. All right, so the last time I did a live, as y'all can see, I'm repping BBB just because of what I'm going to talk about. So, and not just that, y'all got to forgive me. My whole hair situation ain't really popping right now. I got a mess going on underneath this little beanie. As you can see, my facial hair situation ain't really popping right now. So, But yeah, so last time I was on here, I hadn't watched the latest episode of Ball in the Family or anything like that. And somebody mentioned that, what's going on? Somebody mentioned that Jello had been talking about going to the London Lions, or he had been possibly, that's a possible situation. So I looked into it, I dug into it, and I told you that I would. So this is what I got. So the people that I know close to that situation, from what is being told to me, is that right now Jello he's focused right now. He's supporting his brothers Melo and Zoe, and good looking out, man. He's supporting his brothers, and there's not a final decision that's being made just yet. The plan, like I mentioned last time, is for him to get on with the G League. They want that avenue first. However, if overseas is a route and there's an option, which there are teams that for good reason would want to have him there, as they've already saw the type of value that the Ball brothers can bring just by having somebody of that caliber, on their team. And LeVar can be in two places, so I think that might be a turn on for some people if they feel that they don't want to have to worry about LeVar or whatever it may be. They may see that as a possible win-win to get the notoriety with Jello, but also not necessarily have to worry about LeVar being right there, like he was when they were in Lithuania. So it just all depends on how you look at it. But as of right now, what I'm being told is that Jello he's working out, and he's also just supporting what's going on with Melo and Zoe, and seeing if they can form this trio at some point in the next couple years in the NBA. Not necessarily him going overseas. As I get more information, like I said, I definitely will, let you guys know. But that also comes with, you got to continue to help me grow this channel, because I mean, right now this is the most I've had on here so far. But y'all gotta say what's up to me. I got a few of my people in here that already said what's up. I need the rest of y'all to drop it in. Go ahead and get these comments popping. Y'all know how I am. I like to get the feedback, back and forth, so we can really have some fun with this whole thing. And then that way I can answer a lot of the questions that some of y'all have, because I know that, a lot of people want to know what's going on with BBB, and, just from my experience with working with them, there's a method to the madness in terms of not putting a whole lot of information out. And I can share tidbits of what I do know, things that probably they wouldn't necessarily mind me sharing. But at the same time, there's certain things that got to be kind of left in-house. But let me go ahead and get to a couple of these I see on here. All right, so Jello could play in the NBA. Yeah, he could play. I think there's a couple years that he needs to get to. That's just my opinion. I think that he has a couple years until he gets to the caliber that he needs to get to with his height and he has a certain skill set as a scorer and a shooter. He's got to be able to develop on the defensive end as a rebounder, because if all three of them are going to have to play, he's going to have to play the three at the very least. I mean, Zoe's going to be the point, Melo is going to be the combo point shooting guard, and Jello, they position him as the two, but he's the biggest out of the three, so he's going to have to play the 3 or the 4, which he's going to have to guard the bigger guys at times. So he has to be able to guard bigger guys, but also have to rebound. So he has to be able to fine-tune those things, in my opinion, and also be able to play with the ball in his hands on the perimeter, not just going down on the block. He's not going to be able to do that as effectively in the NBA as he has in high school and in some of these leagues that he's played in since then. When will the water hit the East Coast? Good question, man. Right now, And when that whole thing was jumping off, like last year, the Albertsons and Vons and the other stores that they're in currently in the West Coast, those stores were already lined up. All right, it was just a matter of trying to get the logistics kind of figured out with getting the water over here and everything. So now that it's finally there, it's going to be a process. I wouldn't expect it to hit the East Coast anytime soon. Don't quote me on that. That's just me from a business perspective. I don't expect it to hit the East Coast anytime soon. But that'd be great, because I'm not too far from where you are, Jody. So we'll be able to get it over here. Used to have the top fan badge whenever y'all had the JBA Live on Facebook. I was always tuned in. Man, that was definitely appreciated. I don't think y'all understand how much that really helped with just keeping everybody's spirits up, man, because, you get a lot of hate and you get a lot of, negative comments as you see. So a lot of times, AB, he was doing the play-by-play, and I would be kind of manning the comment section. So a lot of times y'all would hear me doing the shout outs initially when the games first started going on. Then AB had started bringing his computer or his laptop. But, if he's doing play-by-play, then he can't be doing looking at the comments and looking up. I was kind of doing both, because I was providing analysis, and I didn't have to watch every single second of the game like his job technically was supposed to be. So seeing those positive comments, seeing y'all comment and sharing the live, sharing the games like that, that was definitely huge. We definitely appreciated all the fans of the JBA, and I thought it was a great year. It was definitely dope just being able to travel around and meet all those great young players and the staff that we worked with. It was really good. Let's see. Since you might have inside info, can you clear up the controversy about whether Jordan Ray received those D1 offers NBA Combine? That's been talked that all that was lies. I'm in the same boat as y'all when it comes to whether that. I mean, those are things that we're told. So if he had the offers and that's what he mentioned, then we got to go by what he says. And the NBA Combine invite, I'm gonna let y'all kind of decipher on that, and you just have to take that for what it is. My estimation is that they go out after the season, so you can take that for what it's worth on that. Everything else, I don't have a lot of information to give you on that. If you want my opinion on certain stuff, I mean, you can ask me specific questions about that. But in terms of me speculating on what offers he may have had, I don't know who was talking to him. And I mean, that's when he was in high school. So I wish I had a better response for you. Melo can play the three. Yeah, he can play the three. And he's only going to get stronger. I mean, just like you see, Zoe can guard 1 through 4. Melo's going to have to prove that he can guard and that he's willing to guard. I think that's the difference between Zoe and Melo, is that Zoe, he always showed the willingness to guard. Even at UCLA, he had a willingness to play defense, and just like LeVar would always say, just whatever it would take to win the game, that's just what he's always been doing. Melo, he's a different breed, man. I mean, he's funny. Especially if you watched, I finally watched the last episode when he was kind of clowning Zoe about he only had 2 points. And he was like, man, F them wins, you got to kind of go do what you need to do at times. And that's him in a nutshell, and not all the way, because, he definitely doesn't like to lose. And I know a lot of people asked me about that interview that he and I did when he had like a few words about, rebounds and whatever it was. Right before that interview, he had some words to say, off camera, that I could tell that he was really frustrated. So it does get to him. It does bother him, just like anybody else. He's just a little bit different in how he expresses himself. He's a lot more like LeVar when it comes to that, as you could probably tell. Zoe should be back versus Houston. I'll try to see if I can get an update exactly on that. I don't want to speak on it on when he will be back and speculate, but I'll definitely look into it and talk to my sources on that. I've already reached out. I'm just waiting on the response back. That's probably the way that I can tell you on that. So unless it's already been reported, I haven't looked on and seen anything today. I've been really tied up today. So unless there's something that's already been reported and you're telling me, then there was okay, well, I guess so. You and AB did a great job. Hey man, I definitely appreciate that. You've been down since day one, so all the love is most definitely appreciated. All Jello needs is an opportunity, but he also needs to understand that once he does, if it's G League or Summer League, he needs to show out. That's going to be his only chance to make the league. That's a tough thing, man. He's different than the other two. The other two have a specific skill set that translates immediately to the NBA, whereas Jello, he's kind of in a boat with a lot of different people. What makes Jello different is the fact that he's thicker at his size, and you typically see those type of players, like PJ Tucker, they got to go a different route and kind of figure out how to shoot and figure out how to score and showcase that they can defend multiple positions. Whereas Jello, he's already, that size and he can already score. It's just he has to go back and figure out how to play defense and can he rebound the same way that PJ Tucker had. I mean, this ain't nothing new. I've been saying this since last year. Those who've been following me for a minute, I've always said, and some people, they try to, act as if I'm some kind of, like I'm not. I've never been a realist. I never kept it real. I've always kept it real, regardless of whatever support I may have had for Big Baller Brand and the family. I've always stated the realness about it. I never said that Jello would go to a team and be starting. Regardless of whether that's what LeVar believes, I have a different opinion. And he and I can chop it up and talk about what those things are. I've always said that I believe that Jello can play in the league, but he needs 2 years. Put him in the G League, let him develop, let him see if he can beat PJ Tucker. We know he can shoot, we know he can score. He needs to be able to defend on the ball, 1 through 4, as well as play off the ball, man defense. He got better at that in Lithuania, but he still wasn't at the caliber that he needed to be for NBA teams to say, okay, he's ready to play right now. So if you stash him in the G League, I know he can score. I'm not concerned with that if I'm a GM or if I'm an NBA head coach. I want to see, can he play defense? Can he rebound at his size, because he's only 6'4"? Regardless of what LeVar says, he was measured at the combine there in Orlando at 6'5" with shoes on. All right, so without shoes, that means he's about 6'3" and 3/4, 6'4" basically. So at that height, he's got to show extra. I've played ball with PJ Tucker before, and they're about the same size. They list PJ at 6'6". He's about 6'5", so he and Jello are around the same height. All right, and it took PJ Tucker about 4 or 5 years or so after he graduated college before he got a shot in the NBA, but he had to show that he can shoot the ball. All right, so like I said, it's a reverse effect for Jello. He has to show that he can play defense effectively. He's got to be able to guard 1 through 4, though, and he has to be able to know how to rebound the basketball as well. So, but yeah, it takes an opportunity, and like you said, as soon as he gets that opportunity, he has to perform, and he has to show up and show out and prove that he has the staying power to play with his brothers if that's the ultimate goal. All right, y'all done slowed up on the comments. What you got? Oh, do I need to scroll down? Oh, no. But while y'all do that, I'm gonna talk real quick about the Lakers, man. Like, it hasn't been the season that I thought it would be. I'll be honest. I thought that LeBron coming with Lonzo, they would figure out a way to make this a very special season. Both of these players are 2 of the smartest players I've personally seen. And then you add Rondo to the mix. You got to figure out how this whole dynamic is going to work, because you got 3 basketball savants there, but you only have 1 basketball, and all 3 of them need the ball to be special. And then you have Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, that's 2 extra players who excel with the basketball in their hands. So the fact that they're 28 and 29 right now, and let's see, I was just on the radio earlier talking about this, but they're 4 games out of the 6th spot. They're behind Sacramento and the Clippers for the 8th spot. So is it LeBron just coasting through the All-Star game until he turns it up after this, or is this team just as mediocre as they've been playing? I mean, it's a lot of factors that are going into it that they got to figure out, because this ain't the Eastern Conference no more. LeBron is in the shark-infested waters of the Western Conference, and he has to be able to galvanize this team after he's basically tried to trade everybody and make them play within themselves, but they're going to have to do it as a collective unit. And with all the drama that's going on, I don't know how in the world they're going to be able to do it. I'm just being honest. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it with everybody else in the West going after the neck, because Oklahoma City is better. Houston is playing much better. The Sacramento Kings, they're young and they are out for blood. The Clippers, they're going to do what they need to do. Golden State, obviously. The Nuggets, I mean, it's just stacked. I mean, and they're all good teams. Portland, I mean, everybody, they're all good teams. So they got to figure out how they're going to get themselves out of this mess. And I don't really know. I don't have an answer for you that I don't have an answer for you that they can be able to implement right now. That's the thing. So I don't know. Luke's rotations and late game decisions. There's a lot that's been mentioned with that. I've been on the record. I'm not a fan of how he rotates the players, but I also even said this last year, because I'm not a Laker fan. I never watched the Lakers like that, like how some people do. Even before LeBron or Zoe got there, I never watched them, so I never really knew that he had an issue with rotation or what his coaching style was like. Because when he was at Golden State, the team was already ready. It was ready made. I could go in there and pretty much just fill in and coach that team. So I never really knew what his coaching style was like. But I also said that when they drafted Zoe, they did a terrible job of surrounding him with the type of players that he needs to be surrounded by. He needed to be surrounded by shooters and people that allow him to do what he does best, which is pass the ball and make plays for other people. And when you don't put him in that position and you got all these players to choose from, and then I'm not sure if Magic or whoever's the decision maker pinpoint and say, hey, whatever you do, I want my young bulls out there. I want my young bulls out there, and you let them go, and you figure it out that way. So Zoe need to have 38 minutes, 40 minutes. And that's the only executive order I'm gonna put out there. That's what I would do as a general manager. That's what I would do for a president of basketball operations. I ain't gonna tell you who to sub in and sub out, but I want Zoe to have 40 minutes. I want Julius Randle to be to have a certain amount of minutes, and you just got to have more direction. Give him something to work with and how you want your team to flow. And there really wasn't any direction. You didn't really give Luke, in my estimation, the player that he needed to be fully successful. Even this year, you throw LeBron at him. What do you think is going to happen? And then you throw Lance Stevenson, Rondo, JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley, all these types of players who don't mesh well with nobody, especially someone like LeBron. There's no shooters at all on the team. They didn't do that until after the mess has already happened with him trying to trade darn near 80% of the team. So, like I said, I'm not a fan of how Luke coaches at times, but you can only do so much when you don't have full control of all the pieces that you really need to be successful. Give Zoe the ball and let him do his thing. Man, I've been saying that for a minute. When you got a horse, you gotta let him run. And that's what Zoe is. He's not going to wow you with fancy ball handling. He's not going to wow you with shooting a whole bunch of threes. That's really not his game. He's going to wow you when you just let him do what he needs to do. Let him get the rebound. Let him push it. Let him play fast. Let him play wild and out of control, but knowing that he understands how to play the game. And when you do that, that's when special things happen. That's really all it was when he played at UCLA. They had half court sets, but they just let him do what he needed to do. They let him be special, and they were on the verge of possibly winning a national championship. And we'll never know. I'm not sure how it affected him with his mother. I know if it was my mom, it would be difficult for me to play. So I have to assume that had some effect. And but that team really wasn't that great without him. And you saw how UCLA has been since he's left. And that just shows how great of a player that he is. So, yeah, you're right. They need to let him do his thing and just see what happens, even with LeBron. Would I consider the JBA season a success? Well, I'm a bit biased, but even looking from the outside looking in, and I'll share, that's a good question. I'll share the things that I know because I was directly involved with it. A lot of the planning, a lot of the, all of those things, we had a small team of people to make something big like this and put it all together. And based on those factors, I think it was a huge success because usually when you have a league of this magnitude, it's brought by, a TV deal. You got maximum exposure with, commercials or whatever. A huge support system of people that really make it all happen. But it was really just a handful of people that were controlling this. I can't tell you how many hats I wore. I had this hat plus about 5 other ones, and that's not just me. There was a lot of people that's what we did, but we had to make it work. So some of the quality that you probably would expect, some of it had to. Maybe it maybe not have been as good as it could have been because we were devoting so much time to so many different things. So I look back on some of the sideline commentary I did, and I can't even watch it. Like I cringe sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Like I was rewatching one clip where I think my collar was like my suit collar was not even folded down all the way because right before that. Like I was doing so many other things. I think I probably just put my jacket on, and I didn't have time to get myself situated because I was doing some other stuff. If you're a normal broadcaster, normally you got someone getting your makeup straight, getting your hair straight, making sure your suit. They're already doing that even before you're on camera. So we had to kind of do a lot of this stuff on our own. And then I've never done sideline reporting. The commentators don't typically do sideline reporting. So adding that to my duties, me and AB, we weren't really prepared for that. He and I really worked hard on trying to make the broadcast as live as what it was. And I thought, honestly, just me being objective, I thought we did a really good job. Just making it, we kind of try to make it our own. We didn't really try to do what other people did. We wanted to be professional, of course, but we also wanted to put on for the culture as well, and try to give a little bit of our flavor and our flair for something that's a little bit different. People can't tune into an NBA game and talk to Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy or whoever, and having the comment chat section like we did. We said we wanted to really, make it into something that was going to be fun. And I think we accomplished that. But with the amount of attention that it got, where that people that know it across the states and now across the world, absolutely, it's definitely a success. There's so many players that you would have absolutely no idea who they were. I didn't even know who Deion Lau was, and he was right there at UT. I'm tripping. UTSA, San Antonio, 6th man of the year, Division I player, and I never heard of the guy, But now a lot of people know who he is. They know what Free Jew is. They know what his little, they know what his brand is about, and other players, like Jarrell Springer, who I thought was one of the better players in the league. If God forbid, he didn't have a situation his senior year where he was ineligible, and then You know, his father passed away from cancer. I mean, there's a lot of stories that you guys maybe you finally know about, but you didn't know about, that now people can understand and say, okay, I see why they didn't make it, or they didn't go the college route, and they decided to go this route. They're really good players, but now here's some backstory behind it. So I definitely thought it was a success, but I do think that it could have definitely been even better, and we'll just have to see where it goes from here. What was the news on Jello? Oh man, you gotta replay it, man. You gotta replay. And if I have some time in the end, I may be able to go back over it. But once this is over, you might just have to just hit the refresh and watch it again. The trade rumor definitely hurt that team. You can tell by their body language on the court. Well, I can only imagine, you know, at my job, if my boss said, hey y'all, or even my boss, or you know, one of the other well-respected members, since I'll call LeBron a well-respected member who won't get fired. But let's say if my boss and that particular person were kind of in cahoots with trying to get me out of there, and the majority of my coworkers, I'd probably be like, you want me to work for you? And you want me to be cool with you? I don't know, man. Now, LeBron, he's a very captivating individual, so I don't think he'll have an issue. I think the issue is going to be with the front office, as well as with all the other executives, where some of those young players are going to always know that you didn't want them. You know, LeBron didn't technically come out and say, hey, I'm trying to trade you, but you know, they're smart enough to know that he has some influence on that, and that he really wanted Anthony Davis as a client of his and his company. So, you know, it is what it is. LeBron knows what he signed up for. He will make the playoffs. I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it. I expect him to make the playoffs. And he's considered the best player in the world, so I'm expecting him to make the playoffs. It would be a very huge disappointment if they don't make the playoffs. So even in the Western Conference where he is, you got to get it done. You know, you just got to get it done. So I expect him to make the playoffs, and if they don't, then we can always pinpoint and look at this situation where this whole trade deadline fiasco, which was a complete circus, that was completely managed very, very poorly by the Lakers and the Pelicans. Everybody around was just a terrible executed trade deadline situation. Dell Demps was rightfully fired. If I'm trying to give you, if a player on my team tells me that they don't want to be there, they've told me this in private, and then now they go publicly with it. That was the thing. You know, he tells you privately, you don't have to do nothing because you're like, all right, well, you're still on payroll. I'm expecting you to show up to work. But once they go public with it and they tell everybody, and it's a huge storyline, you got to figure out a way to get him out of there, because he has 1 year left and he's going to leave you for nothing. So either you trade him, go ahead and trade him, get all those picks, all those players. You had 6 players plus draft picks. Come on, man. You got to do that. And he didn't. And then the whole situation after that just blew up, and they had to go ahead and get him out of there. So I don't blame the Pelicans for doing that. It was poorly executed by him. Magic, LeBron, everybody else, it wasn't handled the greatest by them as well. But it is what it is. That's NBA for y'all. Is Melo eligible for college? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. My guess is, if I had to say, based on with all the factors with him, if they view him as a pro, playing in Lithuania, and if they view the JBA league as a professional league, whether or not he got paid or not, then that alone could be grounds for him to be ineligible, especially with the NCAA. They operate in their own way. So those two factors alone could possibly make him ineligible. But I talked about this on a previous video. I don't think that that's really the top priority anyway. I think that they would like to probably get him in the G League and maybe package LiAngelo together. I don't have this on the record. This is just my thoughts. Package LiAngelo together and then kind of see how things work with maybe trading Lonzo and then getting them all on the same team. Like, I think that, LeVar is probably to that point. He's already said it publicly that he doesn't believe that the Lakers have Lonzo's best interest. He doesn't believe that they have ideas and plans to put Jello on the Lakers with Lonzo. So with that being said, I think that the G League route would probably be Jello's next destination, as well as Melo. And college probably won't be in the plans, because you got to think about it. Melo's in the 2019 class, right? They've already signed the majority of their players. So he would have to go in the very late signing period after the season and just see if someone would take him. Now, there has been the possibility of him going on as a walk-on and paying his own way, which that's not going to be a problem if he's going to play for 1 year anyway. Now, if the NCAA would have some sort of stipulation saying that he can't play at all, or is it, can he just not get a scholarship? So there's a lot of different things that are in play that make this a very interesting storyline. All right, let's see. What time is it? All right, it's 9:18. I'm going to give it about 3 to 5 more minutes. And while we're doing this, if you haven't subscribed, I need y'all to do that, man. I got to grow this channel. I got to get to about 100. And who that right here, man? This is my dog, AB the Hero. My dog, AB the Hero in here, over here creeping. You in there creeping, ain't you, bro? That's my boy right there. I think the Suns would take all 3. I think they probably would. That would actually be a good look, mainly because they don't have a point guard. They are in desperate need of a point guard. And you got Devin Booker there. You got DeAndre Ayton. All you need is another a power forward and a shooting guard. So you mix and match. You put Devin at the 2 or the 3, and then that means that Jello has to play the 3 or the 4 or whatever. They can make it work. I mean, that would be very long. Devin Booker's 6'6", 6'7". Zoe's 6'6", 6'7". Melo 6'6", 6'7". And then you got Jello at 6'5", and then DeAndre Ayton at 7 foot. So, that could be a possibility. We out here, AB. Hey, look out for an email, man. I got the situation that we're trying to work on in Indianapolis. Look out for that. I meant to hit you up about that. But we also got to talk about some other stuff. These streets, they've been waiting for us, man. We got to figure out what we're gonna do. You was playing with me over the weekend. Good looking out. Maya, I'm sorry. Maya or Mia? I'm thinking it's Maya. Marvelous. I'm sorry. You got to forgive me. I saw AB on here, so he's not good with pronouncing names. So I guess I just got infected since I just saw him. So if it's Maya or if it's Mia, then my apologies. Forgive me. Representing Touchdown Alabama. Y'all go check that out. And for those of y'all who didn't get the story earlier about why I'm wearing this, it's a situation going on underneath this this beanie, man. I don't think y'all really want to see. If you look at the last video, it was just as bad, but I just went ahead and just said, screw it. Y'all gonna have to see me at my worst. I got this whole situation going on. Yeah, it ain't looking good. I gotta get these clippers back working. My clippers then gave up when I was cutting my son's hair last week, and they was just tripping. And it took me like 30 minutes to cut a little 6-year-old's head because it wasn't going. I said, I'm not about to mess my head up, so I'm gonna have to go with the rough man look. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so that's I see. Okay, that's J Josiah then. Okay, I got you. I didn't know his YouTube name, so I figured it out when you said what do you say? When you said he dropped the video on the JBA. I peeped that earlier, man. That was good stuff. I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, I was just talking about you know, with Jotty and everybody else that been down from beginning, man. Like, you know, we definitely appreciated the support because, I mean, that was a grind, man. Like, I can only imagine what it was like being overseas. I mean, I know AB has mentioned that before with, you know, being away from your family. You know, those of y'all who don't know, I'm married. You know, I'm locked up. So imagine being away from your significant other for 2 months. You know, I don't think I have to explain, especially as a man, you know, what you're missing, you know, with being away from your wife for that long. Thank God I saw her in Atlanta 2 times, and then in Chicago she came up to visit me for our anniversary. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have acted pretty crazy on some of them games. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Once you done been without it for a minute, you know, you start to do some crazy stuff, and I probably would have started acting out on the broadcast. Maybe some of the built-up tension would have finally got to me. But yeah, you know, just being away from my family, being away from my children, man, that was rough too. And just all the traveling, like the traveling was dope. But you know, when you got, especially in the beginning, and AB, he can feel free to chime in on this if he wants to. But I think that one of the hardest parts about that whole summer last year was those back-to-back games. And if y'all remember the schedule, we played, the first one was in Ontario, California at Citizens Business Bank Arena. We jumped on a flight, I think the next day, to go to Houston. And then after that Houston game, like, we took a red eye straight to Seattle. So we're talking about, we got off the plane, got into the rental car, and went straight to the arena right there in Seattle. So you're talking about getting off there, ain't nobody showered. You know, we changing, and we had to change right there in the arena. You know, those are things that you know, that's a little behind the scenes stuff that, you know, I'm not sure if AB's mentioned that before, but you know, we did that. I think there was 2 more back-to-backs like that. You got to remind me, AB, if you're still on there. Remind me if we had. I know we had at least 1 more, but we may have had 2 more. And thank God, after the second half of the season, we didn't have any more back-to-backs, because that was brutal. And one thing I always say about, you know, broadcasters, they don't typically have to do that. And then not on top of that, you're talking about calling 2 games in the same night, 2 full games, 48-minute games. You know, 48 minutes is like 2 hours for NBA time, full 48-minute, 12-quarter games, and that was rough. I can't lie to y'all, that was absolutely rough. So I appreciated the experience with that, and it was definitely something that I will never forget, and well worth it. Don't get me wrong, but that was definitely rough. You're talking about just yeah, it was rough. Been deployed 5 times, and I know where y'all was going. Hey, man, more power to you. Definitely, first of all, appreciate your service, number one. But yeah, being away from the wife, man, woo, I tell you, man, like that was tough. For those of y'all who have kids and you talking about that 6-week time frame, like I'm messing around and tore some stuff up around my house just waiting. So yeah, it got pretty rough on the road sometimes, just for that reason alone. But we won't get into that. My wife might be watching upstairs somewhere, so she probably up there, you know, clowning right now, trying to figure out what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that alone. so I don't get messed up for the night. Trying to make sure I end the night on a good note, not just with y'all, but with her as well. But anyway, the Melo Lonzo scene and Ball in the family really showed me the difference between the two. Melo got that mode where he's gonna get his while making plays for others. Zoe shot 2 shots and said shots weren't coming to him. It shows the difference between the two. Zoe is an aggressive and doesn't get his like he can. Well, I think the thing, and that's a good observation. And I'm probably going to end with this, unless I got something really, really quickly. But with Zoe, you got to understand, he grew up playing a certain way. Like, he wasn't asked to score. He can score, but that's not what his nature and the way that he plays the game. He is programmed basically within himself to just play and win. Push the ball, put the ball in other people's hands, let everybody else get theirs. And if he needs to take over, he's comfortable doing that. I think for him, it's okay. You got to get yours too. All right, don't be afraid to go ahead and get yours while still making everybody better, because you're better than just the average basketball player. You're good enough to score and make plays and do what you need to do from a scoring perspective, especially at your size and your athleticism. He's very fast with the ball, has a really good first step, but he's not used to scoring like that. Melo's been scoring like that probably since he picked up the basketball. He's just been wired like that. And LeVar, he said it himself with how Lonzo, he's the playmaker, the passer, the point guard. Gelo's more the scorer, and then you kind of blend the two together with Melo, and you see that he can do both. So that's kind of how Zoe just has to kind of take a little bit of that. He's never going to be full-fledged, aggressive, trying to score, because that's taking him out of his element, But he has to. He's got to figure out a way to bottle some of what we've seen and let that be a defining part of his game. Because you can't have people questioning whether you have the gumption to be that dog from start to finish or when necessary. You just got to be able to do it, especially at your size and your athleticism. And it's just going to come with time. I mean, he hadn't even played a full season yet. He played 50 games last year, and he's only played 30-something games this year, or 40 games this year. So, I mean, it's going to take time. I'm going to tell you one other thing. This is something that a lot of media don't really mention when it comes to Lonzo. He did not have an offseason. He was rehabbing all offseason. And for those of y'all who've played basketball, if you've coached or you've trained or whatever you do, you know how important that offseason is. Even doesn't really matter what sport it's going to be, basketball, baseball, football, that's where you really get better. He had no opportunity to really work on the certain moves that he needs to do to be a better scorer. And then what you do is you work on those moves, but you go and you play pickup games. You go to these pro-ams, Drew League, those open runs at UCLA. That's what a lot of those guys do, and they work on those things, and then you take it into the preseason and work on it as well. That's like the real deal when you take it into the preseason. And I can kind of equate that with spring training for baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. Shout out to the Braves, but take for instance a pitcher who says, okay, I want to work on my changeup this spring. He may have a terrible spring because he's throwing so many changeups, but he's doing that because he's trying to figure out locations, trying to figure out which grip that he's going to use, is it a circle change or whatever. And then when the season comes, he's able to put it all together. So Zoe didn't really have that. He didn't have that opportunity to work on being aggressive in the offseason as he was getting stronger and then using it in the games. So I think that once he finally gets a full offseason, getting stronger, getting more confident, we'll finally see his game fully come together, whether he's with the Lakers or whether he's with another team. So, man, what's goody, y'all? I'm about to jump off now, man. Y'all done waited too late. And that's not y'all's fault. That's my fault. I had an issue with getting the live stream going. I thought if I scheduled it, it would just go straight into the live instead of me having to create another one. So I definitely appreciate y'all jumping on. I'm gonna try to do this like every 2 or 3 days or something like that. Y'all have to give me feedback, let me know what y'all want, because we had a pretty good audience going on. I had like 15, 20 that was on here at one time, so that's cool. I'm trying to grow it to where we have a huge conglomerate of people. So but yeah, we're gonna continue to do this. And check out, you'll start to see some videos. I finally was able to upload, some of my videos of me shooting. I was putting some out on my Instagram. Y'all see the shot. The J is real. It's legit. It's ridiculous. I tried to tell y'all thought I was playing when I was saying the stuff on the broadcast. AB had his little jokes or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. The proof is in the pudding, man. Like, I'm gonna start pulling up on people, and it's about to be crazy here in a little bit. I'm about to fly out to see where the professor is, T Jazz, some of these guys. Y'all let me know who I need to pull up on. Y'all start getting into these people's mentions. Let them know I'm coming for them, because it's about to get crazy right here. Low key bread. Hey, you ain't even seen the long range game yet. That was a mid range video you seen. You gotta check out the long range one. That's just, I ain't gonna say nothing else. You're gonna have to see when I start uploading them. But no, I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, I'm really gonna try to make this something that's fun. I really wanna start challenging some people. I just got to get out there and do it. And I have some people lined up. I just got to make the connection and figure out a way to meet up with them travel wise. So but I wanted to get the channel going first. That's one of my goals and objectives. So with y'all's help, I can definitely get there. Some of y'all have subscribed. You told me you subscribe, so definitely please hit that subscribe button. Share. Whatever lingo that I'm missing. I'm saying I'm more of a Twitter guy. So AB, if you're still on here, give me all your tricks and your tips and your tools and all that type of stuff. Get my subscribers up to, I want to get 100 first, and then we get to that 200 range, and then that 300 and 500, 1,000, and then I can look back and say, man, y'all helped me grow my Twitter. Now y'all helped me grow this YouTube channel. So I definitely appreciate it. And it's going to be a fun journey. I'm really looking forward to 2019. 2018 was bigger than I could have ever imagined. So I definitely want to continue that upward trajectory into 2019 and really make this even more special than what 2018 was. So again, with y'all's help and y'all support, I definitely believe that we can all get there. It's not going to just be me. It's going to be y'all helping me get there. So subscribe, like, share, all the other lingo that goes along with it. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. Next time that I do one of these lives, that y'all need to jump on. Come with the questions too, man. Like y'all, this is what makes it fun. This is what makes it enjoyable when y'all have these comments on here and you got questions, because as you can see, once you give me a question, I start taking it and I start running with it. You feel me? So yeah, just help me continue to grow this, and I'm looking forward to the journey. But like I said before, once I started rambling, that means I'm starting to get tired, and it's been 50 plus minutes, so I think that's about my limit, y'all. So hit me up on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. It's the same username, TalkinWithFresh. My Facebook page, I don't really be on there for real, I'm gonna be honest with you, but go ahead and like that page as well. But definitely subscribe to this page, Instagram, TalkinWithFresh, all of that. And I'm out.